Welcome to the Mizzle Dub Show. Welcome to the Mizzle Dub Show. 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 Dub Show. Welcome to the Mizzle Dub Show.
And the last, the show that you've been waiting for, our yearly Super Bowl edition of the Mizzle and Dub Show. And a pleasant good evening and welcome to the Super Bowl edition of the Mizzle and Dub Show. He's Mizzle, I'm Dub. And it came down to two teams. 32 teams had the dream in training camp, but alas, only two remain, and it is the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. And we'll see that's for the Chiefs because that's just the Raider in him. But alas, here we are. So at 3:30 Pacific time, it will come down to the Eagles and the Chiefs inside the big toaster that is State Farm Field in Glendale, Arizona. As you hear the Fox music in the background, as it'll be on your local Fox station, with Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olson on the call for Fox.
Really?
Chris Stapleton. Yes. Burkhardt and Greg Olson are calling the Super Bowl this year. Yes.
I'm for that. Greg Olson is pretty darn good, and it'd be a shame if Fox.
He's done good. He has done very well. Him and Burkhardt have a very good synergy together.
Yeah.
So here's how the Eagles and the Chiefs got here. Each, by the way, had a 14-3 record, the two best records in pro football, each winning their respective divisions. The NFC East, which was a very tough division, the only division to finish well over 500 during the 2022 season. And the Chiefs fought off the Chargers to win another division title. It seems like all Andy Reid has done when he's got to Kansas City is win the AFC West, which will be there for another year. These are two very evenly matched teams. There really is no way to describe it. On the ESPN app, they have the Chiefs winning 53% to the Eagles 46%. I mean, it's almost down the middle as you can possibly put it.
Yeah.
On the injury report, there's none on the Chiefs side. The only thing for the Eagles they have is Brittany Covey. He's questionable. Right now, the over/under is 51, according to Caesars. The money line for the Eagles, it's -125. For the Chiefs, it's +105. The spread, the Eagles -1.5, the Chiefs +1.5. If you look at the team stats, Eagles averaging 28.1 points per game, the Chiefs 29.2 points allowed per game, the 20, the Eagles 7. I'm guessing this is just the playoffs, the stats. Total yards, Chiefs more, 424 to 404. Yards passing, Chiefs advantage. The rushing yards, big advantage for the Eagles, 147 to 115. Yards allowed, advantage Eagles, 215 to 351. Passing yards allowed, advantage Chiefs or advantage Eagles. They only give up 116 to the Chiefs, 243. Rush yards allowed, advantage Eagles, 99 to the Chiefs, 107. So game time is supposed to be about 65 degrees. Don't know if they're going to have the roof open, which it is a retractable roof, and they do play on real grass inside the big toaster. So, for the Chiefs, they got by the Jaguars 27-20 in the divisional round of the playoffs. Good game. Jacksonville will definitely be back there. The Eagles handled the Giants 38-7 as they ran up, down, all around and through the Giants defense. But congratulations to Brian Daboll being the coach of the year as we thought it was expected.
Yes.
Conference style game. Again, it's a no complete for me because, again, we don't know what would have happened if my team would have had a quarterback that did not get hurt in that game. But in the record books, it will say the Eagles beat my beloved Niners 31-7. The Bengals had momentum and Joe Burrow tried to go deep a little bit too much. And the one time he tried to go deep to T. Higgins, the Chiefs defense got an interception. And OC, who was playing so hard, the rookie from Texas, made the foul mistake of knocking Mahomes out of bounds, sets the Panthers and bucket for the field goal. And the Bengals and Mahomes finally beat the Bengals, or the Chiefs finally beat the Bengals 23-20, as the Chiefs are the first team not named the Patriots to go to their third Super Bowl in 4 years since the Bills of the early 90s, which is a rarity. And for the Eagles, it's the fourth time in their history that they're back in the Super Bowl. It's their second time in 5 years since they won their Super Bowl back in 2017, beating the Patriots in Super Bowl 53, 41-33. And of course, the infamous image in my mind is Kobe holding his newborn, talking about we won the fucking Super Bowl. Those were Kobe Bean's words, not mine. Being very, very quiet, not to wake the baby. Yes. Funny thing, a funny, interesting fact. All 4 times that the Eagles have gone to the Super Bowl, they've been the home team, which means they have worn their green jerseys in all 4 appearances in the Super Bowl.
Didn't they wear the white uniforms against the Raiders? Or we wore white?
Oh, you guys were the visiting team. You guys wore the white jerseys.
Yes, correct. Okay, I remember it now. Yes.
Yeah. And Jaws was in a very giving mood to Rod Martin on that particular January Sunday in 1981 in the Superdome.
Hey, we'll take it. We'll take it.
Even though, yes, Plunkett was deserving of the MVP, I still think it should have went to Rod Martin, or they should have been co-MVPs because, 3 interceptions in the Super Bowl is a pretty damn good day.
I would have
now before we break down the game,
yes,
I really have to get this off my chest. I kind of did on my Facebook post. As of course, congratulations to the new inductees to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. There's just 2 particular ones I want to single out just because, as we've said on this show many times, me and my brother, we can practically do a whole show of who should be in the Hall of Fame and why it's taken so long. First off, Chuck Howley, who, if you don't know who Chuck Howley is, him alongside Mr. Cowboy, Mr. Bob Lilly, the 2 originators of the Dooms in Dallas. And if you don't know who Bob Lilly is, go watch some film on number 74 wearing that cowboy star. There's a reason why he was called Mr. Cowboy. And for a lot of people, still is Mr. Cowboy. Anyhow, Chuck Howley finally gets his due at 86 years old. God bless him. Man retired back in 1973.
Wow.
Got inducted into the Cowboys Ring of Honor in 1977 and is now finally getting his due. Here's this fun fact, folks. Chuck Howley is still the only man to be a Super Bowl MVP on a losing team.
Wow.
He was the MVP of Super Bowl 5, but the Cowboys lost to the Baltimore Colts on Jim O'Brien's last-second field goal. And Johnny Unitas got his Super Bowl ring as the Colts beat the Cowboys 16-13. He's the only man that is a Super Bowl MVP of a losing team. Yes. And it's a damn shame it is taking him that damn long to finally get his due. But just like finally Coach Flores got his due and he was alive to get that honor.
Thank goodness.
Chuck Howley is still alive to get his honor.
Thank goodness.
In Canton.
Yes.
And congratulations to him. Secondly, and this is one that really pisses me off. Coryell finally gets his due. But it should have not taken this damn long. If you don't know who Don Coryell is, he is one of the great offensive minds he's ever had. Okay. Bill Walsh showed you what the West Coast offense was. And if you want to know how special guest just woke up, but we're now telling them to just click on the link.
Can't believe it. Can't.
Beginning a surprise guest, folks. So just keep watching, if you will. Anyhow, before Bill Walsh and the West Coast offense, part of the Raiders' vertical passing game came from Don Coryell because Don Coryell and Al Davis were linked together on the San Diego State coaching staff many, many moons ago before Al actually came to the AFL. So there's a history with Al Davis and Don Coryell.
Correct.
Air Coryell was the offense of football mid to late 70s and the early to mid 80s. Okay. Those great Charger teams with Dan Fouts and Justin Jefferson and Kellen Winslow and Hank Bauer and James Brooks before he became a Bengal. That offense was the greatest show on turf.
Pretty spectacular, if I would say. Pretty.
Didn't have the defense to go far because twice they got to the AFC title game. The Freezer Bowl against Ken Anderson, the Bengals in '81, lost 27-7, and those wild card Raiders of 1980 led Jim Plunkett, denied them a chance to go to the Super Bowl. So there was a lot of great Charger teams in the late 70s, early 80s that was ran by Don Coryell that fell short. And if you want to go even further, the good teams that the St. Louis Cardinals had before they came to the desert in the mid 70s with Jackie Smith,
yep,
Jim Hart, and before he became Ahmad Rashad, Bobby Moore was originally a Cardinal first before he became a Viking.
Yep.
And of course, Terry Metcalf, Eric Metcalf's dad,
yes,
the original Swiss Army knife. Those Cardinal teams in the mid 70s were some very damn good teams as well. So Don Coryell retired in 1986. Unfortunately, passed away in 2010. And it's a damn shame, just like it was for Kenny Stapler, just like it was for Cliff Branch. It's a damn shame. These great contributors to the game of football had to pass away to finally to now get their flowers, which I just think it's wrong.
It's too long.
Because like I said, when you think of innovative coaches that have coached in the NFL, obviously yes, Lombardi's there, Noel's there, Bill Walsh is there, or Gibbs.
Hell,
which
Parcells
matter of fact, Bill Parcells. As a matter of fact, Joe Gibbs is from the Don Coryell tree because Joe Gibbs was Don Coryell's offensive coordinator before Joe Gibbs had his first stint with the Redskins back in the 80s. So Joe Gibbs took a little bit of Coryell's offense and applied it to him, but the one thing that Coryell didn't have that Gibbs did, obviously, was the counter gap, which, if you know football, the counter gap was a staple in the Washington Redskins offense for many years, from John Riggins to George Rogers to Ernest Biner,
yes,
so on and so forth, especially in the Joe Gibbs era. So, with that said, I'm happy for the Coryell family. I listened to the phone call when Dan Fouts called Don Coryell's son and his daughter to tell them that their dad was finally getting their flowers, and obviously
amazing.
The kids were touched by it. I just wanted to single those two out just because, again, it's a damn shame, and that's not to take nothing away from Darrelle Revis and Joe Thomas and Rondé Barber and Joe Klecko, who finally gets his due from the famous New York Sack Exchange. He finally gets in. No disrespect to those gentlemen. Of course, the late Ken Riley of the Bengals, he gets in. And that was a touching phone call that Anthony Munoz called Ken Riley's son to tell him that, hey, your dad's finally getting in.
Yeah.
So congratulations to all those members getting enshrined. But I just wanted to single out Chuck Howley and Don Coryell just because those two guys were tremendous contributors to the game. Obviously, Don Coryell's a coach, Chuck Howley's a player. Has got to do better. And that's just not in football. That's in baseball. Basketball, for the most part, gets it right.
Yeah.
And so does hockey.
Well, I don't understand how Jim Plunkett's not in the Hall of Fame.
With the exception of Brady, every other quarterback that has won 2 or more Super Bowls is in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
And it's a very short list.
Exactly.
Okay? Not counting Brady, because eventually we know he's going to get in.
First
if he
ballot.
actually stays retired this time. If he actually stays retired this time.
First
But
ballot.
it,
No doubt about that.
it's a very short list. Montana, Bradshaw, Aikman, Elway, Starbuck, Greasy. All those that I just mentioned.
Did you say Eli?
He's not a shrine yet, but I'm just naming the ones that are in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, you said
right
that's already in there. Excuse me. You
that's already in there.
Yeah, yes. And I don't
Eli
understand.
probably is going to get it.
I don't understand.
Eli is probably going to get in. Eli is probably going to get in just because he beat
Brady
Brady twice.
Going to get in. You know, Waterhead's going to get in. The sheriff will get in.
Well, he's already in. Speaking of which, our special guest is indeed in the building, and of course, he's properly dressed, much to the chagrin of Mr. Mason. Shaggy, we can't hear you. Or he's connecting to the audio. Okay, I'm sorry. Shaggy, you there?
Yeah, I can hear y'all now.
Look here, asshole. Well, first off, ladies and gentlemen, our special guest and highly Chiefs fan. I'm sure that just pained you to say that.
Whatever. They've been running the fucking division since.
Anyhow,
there's nothing to say.
There's
nothing to say. They've been running the division since he's been in the league. So there's nothing else.
Facts.
Because he's the best.
First off, Shaggy, welcome to the show. First off, Shaggy, welcome to the show. I'm glad you can make it. But first and foremost, how are you? How's the recovery going? How are you feeling?
I mean, so in honor of the Super Bowl tomorrow, I made sure to go get some barbecue in Lubbock, Texas, where MV Pat
he's a Texas. He's a Texas Tech Red Raider. You are in the. How far are you from Lubbock?
An hour.
That's not
so
bad.
I went and got some barbecue, and then I thought I was having another heart attack, so I went to sleep. And then I got all those messages when I woke up, like, I might have screwed up. But yeah, I mean, other than that, recovery going fine, man.
Awesome.
That's good to hear. We're continuously praying for you and your full recovery.
Our prayer is great, and the man above is even more awesome.
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't excited to see that we lost to the Lakers when I woke up, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, that was like I was telling Mizzle, when they go cold, they go ice cold when they can't hit the goddamn side of a barn.
They built the brick house. I'm telling you,
it's ridiculous. But
I couldn't watch
before
it. Another heart attack.
Before you came on, I was ranting in a sense about the Hall of Fame, and I singled out two specific people that finally are getting their due as they got into the Hall of Fame. But now we can actually talk about the game itself. So I'll start with you. Third time in 4 years your team has been in the Super Bowl, looking to win their third overall in the history. First time the Chiefs have worn the whites since the very first Super Bowl against the Packers in '67. So, from your perspective, what are the keys for the Chiefs to possibly get another Lombardi Trophy to bring back to the Midwest?
If you want my honest opinion, even as a Chiefs fan, pray for injuries. I mean, I love the Chiefs. I love Mahomes, but being realistic, the Eagles match up well against the Chiefs in every facet of the game.
That's a fact.
Number one offense, number one defense.
But it's not even just that. Like, yeah, the defensive line of the Eagles led the league in sacks this year by a lot. Like, it wasn't close. Their secondary, I don't think is going to have too much of a problem with Juju and Kadarius Toney if he makes it through a whole game. The offense of the Eagles, though, is where everybody's like, yeah, number one offense in the Chiefs, number one defense in the Eagles. But the offense for the Eagles, I think, is disgusting. Like, it's filthy. I'm not a huge fan of the argument that Jalen Hurts should have been MVP. Like, miss me with that. But Jalen Hurts, Dallas
I'll say it like this. Before he got hurt, Jalen Hurts was indeed the front runner towards winning the MVP. And as he got hurt, Mahomes was being Mahomes. I mean, realistically, it could have been Hurts, it could have been Mahomes, it could have been Joe Burrow, it could have been any, it could have been any, but
You
because
can definitely mix it with that Burrowhead bullshit too.
Speak
that
freely.
was him,
You can speak freely. This
not me. But I mean, like I said, we always encourage passion on this show. So damn it, give us your passion.
they fucked up when they said that Burrowhead shit. Honestly, I'm just gonna
Hey,
go.
Yeah,
That's almost as bad as
nothing
putting
made
a
me
jersey
happier.
on Rocky. That is just as bad as putting a jersey on Rocky. You don't
Nothing made me
disrespect.
happier than 87 calling out the mayor
Yeah,
and Mike Hilton at the end of the game. I was smiling ear to ear.
yeah.
which I think. Go ahead, Mizzle.
You don't disrespect Arrowhead. Even my organization came out there and tried to do that shit. You see what happened to us.
And we still letting y'all have it years later.
Exactly. So you know what I'm saying? So we know not to disrespect Arrowhead when you come. You come in there, you win with some class. If you win, per se.
If you win, which of course,
Come in there with class.
it's one of the toughest places to win in, and it's been one of the loudest stadiums
The only thing I
in the
got about
NFL
that
for
besides
years. I mean, even when they
only thing I got about that thing is I'm a Florida State fan, and you guys do that chop. That shit originated in Florida State, man. Florida State.
Oh man, hey, did I tell you which game I went to this year too?
No.
I went to Arrowhead for the Monday Night Football game.
Oh, is that when they said Devontae Adams?
The 30-29 game?
Yeah. And I went with my brother, who still won't let me live down that was a very AFC Championship-esque game as far as refereeing is concerned.
How is James, by the way?
It went both ways. That roughing the passer call was not a roughing the passer call on Derek Carr. That was
all right,
horrible.
And I'll admit, and I'll make sure he watches this and he's gonna call me about it later. A defensive holding on a field goal.
Shout out to James.
Thank you.
I've never seen that shit before in my life. But hey, I'm here for it. Just like I'm here for third down plays. I'm here for it. I don't care. Guess where that wound up? In the W column. That's all I care about.
Hey, W's a W at the end of the day.
It is, but
if the Raiders would have won on that penalty, that roughing the passer, I would be like, hey, it was a fucking penalty. But at the end of the day, in the books, it's a damn W. So, but it was one hell of a game, though. That was one hell of a game.
I think W's is the only trying to rope it back in. I think W's is the only area where anybody could argue Hurts had a shot at MVP this year. And I think if he doesn't get hurt, then there's a potential there. Like if they're 16-1 at the end of the season because he doesn't miss any games, then you have an argument. But other than that, Mahomes' stats absolutely. Hurts' stats looks like me. Mahomes' stats look like Shaq. I'm 5'4", so you know what I mean. Like the stats speak for themselves. So, and I think again, Hurts is good, and the rest of their offense is really hard to match up with. Miles Sanders is good. Jalen Hurts can run. The Chiefs have struggled with mobile quarterbacks all year, and I think since the dawn of the mobile quarterback. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, like there's weapons all over the field. We're still trotting out a rookie secondary.
This is true.
I mean, we did good against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins last week, but I'm pretty sure Higgins got hurt. So,
and you got.
Well, I'll say this: if there is one chink in the armor of the Eagles' defense, it is the linebacking core, and that's why I think Kelsey might have a fantastic day.
Well, shit.
It might be a true, but I mean, specifically, if there's one wrench in the armor for the Eagles defense, it has been the linebacking, which again, this battle.
Go ahead,
Jackie.
So I think Isaiah Pacheco might be the key to the game, to be honest, because he's going to open up. If he can get to that second level, we can have a better running game than we did against Cincinnati. I think it opens up the passing game as much as we needed to for Pat to be Pat. And the true key to the game is Mahomes' ankle.
Well, he's had 2 weeks of rest, and I'm pretty sure he hasn't gone full throttle in practice. But as we know, the Eagles defense does have 4 guys with 10 plus sacks. And not to mention, you have somebody on the bench named the Mighty Quinn, Robert Quinn, who can sack the quarterback as well, just in case he needs to come in. But the Eagles are
Don't forget about the
and Sue, and of course Fletcher Cox is still manning that defense. But the Eagles have been susceptible to the run, which I think my X factor, in addition to Kelsey, I really think Jerick McKinnon has a chance to really turn some tables in this game, because what he's doing is what I wish he would have done if his knees didn't go out when he was playing for the 49ers. So I knew the talent was there. I knew it was there. And I knew once he went to KC, I said, oh, shit, Andy Reid is going to utilize the fuck out of him. And he has done that. So I think him in the screen pass game, in addition to stretch plays and toss sweeps, McKinnon might be a factor along with Kadarius Toney, because I mean it certainly does not help that Miko Hardman will not be playing. That certainly hurts. But
Does it though?
at the same time,
missed most of the season.
True, but at the same time, Valdez Scantling, who was under a lot of scrutiny under Green Bay, has played tremendously well this year for the Chiefs, and he made some I mean, that pass that Mahomes threw to him, to where Hilton was a split second too late with the right hand, was just
that had a lot of zip on it. Be on one leg and
just absolute fire.
That in there. That was,
of course. But of course, as we all know, it's going to come down to the trenches. It's going to come down to that. It's going to come down to the Eagles' defensive line against the Chiefs' offensive line, and vice versa. Because for the Eagles, if Chris Jones is getting to the quarterback, that's going to be a problem, and not just him. If Frank Clark is also getting to the quarterback, if 55 and 95 are in one-on-one situations, it's going to be a problem for Jalen Hurts, because let's call facts for facts. Yes, the Eagles are 14-3, but they have the 30th softest strength of schedule. While the Chiefs tie with my Niners have the 5th toughest schedule in 2022. So again, your schedule is what your schedule is.
Gotta play the game.
And you play your schedule. Gotta play the game. But Stickley, for the Eagles, maybe with the exception of them playing the Cowboys, this might be the toughest test the Eagles have faced all season long. And there could be something that.
Well, they did play the number one defense, and they played pretty well. So I wouldn't say the toughest test. They pretty much handled your defense pretty well, and you were the number one rated defense, correct?
You talking about?
I didn't say they didn't have.
I'm just talking about, you said that playing the Chiefs is going to be their toughest test, but I'm like, didn't the Eagles play the Niners, and then the Niners are the number one?
They were the number one defense, but the thing is, the Niners extended drives with dumbass penalties.
It still doesn't matter.
But the Niners still extended penalties. But the Niners
team, and they did score touchdowns without the penalties, though. Yes, penalties.
Yes, they
score without penalties. Correct.
No, with the exception of the first drive, these extended drives, which they eventually put it in the end zone. Now, one was because of a turnover, because Brock Purdy did fumble. Like I said, at the end of the day,
the Johnson fumble too.
Yeah, well, Johnson was looking somewhere else, and the damn ball hit him in his damn head. And then his dumb ass decided, I want to try to pick up the ball. No, jackass, you fall on the football and you play another down. At the end of the day, I'm not making no excuses.
That was very reminiscent to Cam Newton's Super Bowl fumble. He didn't look like he was going for that ball at all.
He made a decision. He made a
decision. Yeah,
decision.
That's what that was.
and it cost him, because after that he had forgotten how to throw the football.
Well, all America saw that he made a business decision.
However,
his career a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. You MVP of that season going into that game, and you just
But yeah,
In a line, you were saying?
I agree. The Eagles haven't played anybody aside from the Cowboys worth noting, and even their playoff run was kind of suspect. You got what, Daniel Jones and a quarter of Brock Purdy.
We're speaking just their offense statistically, right? We're not talking about
Even a quarter.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, playing against the 49ers defense with a banged up QB.
I'm just saying that their offense went up against the number one rated defense in the NFL, regardless of the penalties that helped them, and they still put up the points.
Putting up points.
So
I mean,
the Chiefs, though.
Putting up points is putting up points, and like I said, at the end of the day, Niners took an L. They lost. We're on the couch with all the other 31 teams or the other 30 teams, and we're watching who's going to get crowned between the Eagles and the Chiefs. There's no question about that. So, I mean,
you know what's wild? We can bring up the 49ers again, and I don't mean to bash on them, but I enjoy doing it to other people's teams, not mine. We can talk about, too, when the Chiefs dismantled the 49ers earlier in the year. I mean, again, number one rated defense, Chiefs took them apart. But the Chiefs don't have the number one defense. I think the Eagles are going to run roughshod over it.
Protect the edges. The edges, you should be good.
Well, I mean, facts are facts. I mean, you guys came in.
They attack the edges, not mainly in the inside. Maybe with the RPO, they attack the inside, but they mainly like to try to attack your edge. And they're damn sure not going to run at Chris Jones.
No, they would not. That would not be wise. But if I am the Chiefs, O-line, at all times, I know where number 7 is, and that is Hassan Reddick. I need to know where he is. I need to put somebody on him. But then again,
don't be like the Niners.
And I'm sure Andy Reid knows this. I'm pretty sure Andy Reid knows not to put a third wide receiver and a third string tight end on Hassan Reddick. I know Andy Reid knows better not to do that because Kyle Shanahan, what in the hell were you thinking about putting Taylor Croft and Juwan Jennings on Hassan Reddick? What kind of sense does that make?
That's the thing. He wasn't
absolutely none.
Wasn't thinking. That's the thing.
I just hope I want to see whatever crazy play Andy Reid has drawn up, like the ring around the rosy play or the play where they all did the spin on the line of scrimmage a couple of years ago. I need to see what kind of craziness Andy Reid going to do in this game.
Well, I'm pretty sure he had a cheeseburger when he thought about it. I'm sure.
A cheeseburger sounds good though. Like a cheeseburger sounds real good right now.
Please, if there was a Nations in my area, oh my God.
That's not got
anyhow.
A burger.
Not tried that yet, and I know there's plenty in Arizona, and I know it's very big in Texas. I know that for a fact. But I think we all can agree. It's always, well, I mean, as it always is, it's going to come down to who controls the line of scrimmage, obviously. Again, for the over/under or for the total to be 51, I find that kind of unique because both of these teams really can score.
Yeah.
But one thing the Eagles do well is they do very well in time of possession, because they do take long scoring drives that take half the quarter. And I think what Nick Sirianni is going to try to do, because Nick Sirianni, kind of like Andy Reid at times, but I know if Nick Sirianni is across the 50 and it's the 4th down, the Eagles will go for it.
Yep.
And they did that. They did that multiple times during this playoff run. So, I mean, that's, if you're Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs DC, that's something you got to keep your eyes on, just because there's many options. I think the X factor for the Eagles is Gainwell. You certainly have to game plan for him because he's been a running force in this running game. And that's not to take nothing away from Miles Sanders and Bo Scott and Jalen Hurts, but I think Gainwell perhaps is the real big key to the Eagles running game. And if he's getting in the secondary, that could cause some problems for the Chiefs defense.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. And you got to watch the screen game too. The Eagles do have a nice little screen game as well. So I wouldn't.
Both teams have a great screen game.
it's night or day with this Super Bowl. This is an intriguing one because they both can strike at any time, or they both can do methodical drives. So it's not just about this. Will be basically on the defense, who makes the stop and who gets the first turnover, and can that team, when they get that turnover, capitalize. That's how this game is going to go. I don't see it coming down to a field goal. I don't see no dramatics coming down. It's going to be whoever makes that first defensive stop, and can that defense stop that team from that gets the turnover.
It kind of reminds me of Super Bowl 52 between the Eagles and the Patriots, how both teams are going back and forth. And then Brandon Graham got that strip sack fumble on Brady.
Yep.
And that seemed to be, the play that broke the camel's back. So possibly something like that could be the deciding factor in this game.
Which offense is going to make that one critical mistake? That's how I see this kind of game going. Patrick Mahomes sometimes like to make a gamble. He does gamble. You haven't seen Jalen Hurts take too many chances. And Mahomes is a gunslinger, so I just see whichever defense gets that first turnover.
But to counter off what Shaggy said earlier, when you talked about Mahomes' ankle, the same question has to be for Jalen Hurts' shoulder. Yep. Is it healthy? Because on some of those passes that he tried to go deep on against the Niners, they looked very flat and they were short. So that's also a factor to keep in play as this game, goes as we get into it.
Good call.
Go ahead, Shaggy.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I do sometimes get angry at when Mahomes is running around doing his crazy shit, and then he throws this random pass, and I'm like, what? Like, remember the Steph Curry play a few years ago when he was dribbling through the Clippers, and then he puts up the shot, and Curry's like, oh, what are you doing? Yes. That's how I feel about Mahomes. Half the times he plays, I'm like, what the hell? Okay, it was a good pass. Never mind, my bad. I didn't mean to yell at you, Pat. You're a genius. My bad.
Now,
unless he's getting Tyreek killed, where it goes off the receiver's hands and it gets picked off, and then I'm just like, what are you doing?
And here's the funny thing. A lot of people thought that Mahomes' production would decline off just because Tyreek Hill was not there, and thus I think he even threw for more yards.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Did you hear what Kelsey said when in his interview? They asked, "Why does he get so open?" Big Red. That's all. It's Andy Reid, man. It's more. He did this shit when he was in Philadelphia.
Correct.
This is not shocking how he takes. If he gets the players that grasp the offense and understands and is fully invested, you see it. 5 years in a row, Patrick Mahomes has been in the AFC Championship game. I rest my case. That's all I got to say about what Andy Reid does with anybody. You're not shocked. Even he had Terrell Owens and made him a fucking superstar. So Ricky Waters, so.
Yeah, and Tyreek Hill, he got schemed open a lot, but he's also just damn fast. I knew Mahomes' production wasn't going to drop off, but I thought his big play ability would drop off. I didn't think we had anybody that could make the big play like Hill did for most of Mahomes' tenure. But I think the Chiefs were pretty high ranked as far as big plays on offense.
They still were getting explosive plays because, like I said, you had Valdez-Scantling, who had made some big catches this year, and it seemed like Juju found that motivation to want to play football again and not, do the gritty. Of course, Kelsey's going to be Kelsey.
And there it is.
But there's just so many different dynamics that the Chiefs can do on offense. And again, that all is credit to the Kool-Aid Man, since this is the Andy Reid Kool-Aid Man Super Bowl special. But Mahomes is going to have a big game just simply because Mahomes in the Super Bowl has not played great per se. He did what he had to do to win against my beloved Niners. But if you look at his career numbers, in Super Bowl 54 against the Niners, he was 26-42 for 286, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, got sacked 4 times. Obviously, the big 3rd and 15 to Tyreek Hill changed everything.
So we got time to run Wasp? Yes, we do.
Against the Buccaneers in Super Bowl 55, he was 26-49, 270, threw 2 interceptions, kept running for his life, got sacked 3 times. So He completed 61% against the Niners, 53% against the Buccaneers. So in 2 Super Bowl games, he's completing 57% of his passes. Very un-Mahomes like. He's been sacked 7 times, which he is susceptible to the sack. Which if he's getting sacked, that's playing into the Eagles' favor. But one thing he has to do, he has to take care of the football. Hence the 4 receptions so far in 2 Super Bowl games.
We'll take that.
And with
he will take it.
Yeah, and when you got Darius Slay back there, who is still playing some tremendous football, not to mention you do have C.J. Garner-Johnson, who came from the Saints to the Eagles to replace the retiring Malcolm Jenkins at safety.
And Bradbury ain't no slouch.
Oh, Bradbury's not a slouch, but also at the same time, I do think that sometimes they are susceptible to the deep ball. So, like you both have just said, it's really going to come down to who can create or force, or who puts the church's money on the turf.
Indeed.
In addition to the trenches. Now.
And again, I think, like you mentioned, Mahomes taking sacks. I think that's where his injury, if he's not 100%, I think that's where it comes into play. His ability to scramble, if it's not there, or if it's not as strong as it usually is, that's where he's going to get himself into trouble with. He's going to try to get rid of the ball versus run for the first down like he would have if he was on a good ankle, and probably throw a pick. That's one thing I see happen, is him trying to get rid of the ball versus scrambling and throwing a pick in a situation where he normally would have just ran it.
Well, you'll find out early how that ankle is, because the Eagles front 4 is going to be coming. That's for sure. We'll find out early how that ankle is.
Well, normally from a historical standpoint, for those that really have followed Eagles defenses, they normally would do a lot of blitzing. Now, I know when Buddy was the coach, they blitzed the hell out of somebody. I know when Jim Johnson, the late Jim Johnson, was the Eagles DC, they would blitz you to death. I really haven't seen a lot of blitzing from the Eagles, which is quite shocking, because when you think Philadelphia defense, you think blitz, 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 and blitz some more.
They don't need it. They're getting pressure with their front 4.
That's a fact. That is a fact. That is, which is why I say you got to know where number 7 Hassan Reddick is at all time, because if you don't, that's going to be a problem.
You might. I think Andy Reid is probably going to leave Travis Kelce in a little bit, but you will know when it's, for a chip, and you will know when it's like maybe a run or a heavy pass if Kelce is playing out. When Kelce's in, you're pretty much going to be a chip, play action, or a run design to try to stop the rush of Reddick. I think Andy Reid has a good game plan for this defense, and I love it, because it's going to be a chess match, and this is what you want to see. The best going at it. So, in me, I am picking the Eagles to win it, because I'm sorry, I just can't do it. The Raider fan in me, I can't.
Hater. Just hating is what you're doing.
110% fucking hating. Yes. Not gonna deny it. There it is. It's almost like I didn't even want to watch the Super Bowl when both of y'all teams was in the Super Bowl. I'm like, I gotta watch this bullshit. First of all, there's too much fucking red on the TV, and fuck both teams. So,
but the only thing go ahead, Mizzle.
I think on the hating aside though, this should be a good ass Super Bowl, and I would not be shocked if Patrick Mahomes has the ball in his hand and you guys need to score to win it. He will deliver. The kid is just, I can hate on your organization all you want, but you got one hell of a fucking quarterback, and he's fun to watch, regardless if I hate him or not, hate the team or not. He's one hell of a quarterback. So I will not be shocked if the Chiefs win, but I'm riding with the Eagles. That's the hate side right there.
Hater.
Yep.
Straight up
have a score. Do you have a score, Mizzle?
Do I have a score?
Yes.
Just for the simple fact of the matter that I believe that both teams have good defenses and they'll make stops. I will say, like I said, I believe if Patrick Mahomes has the ball in his hand and they have to score, I have the Eagles winning by 6. 6, because I believe if the Chiefs have the ball, they will need a touchdown. And like I said, I'm not shocked if Patrick Mahomes delivers. So I will say 26-20. I'll give that score. It will be a good defense with I see both teams making turnovers, but I don't see them both making that pivotal scoring drive on that turnover. So I just see that happening. Yeah, 26-20, couple of field goals here and there, and some touchdowns. So yeah, 26-20. It'll probably be like 34-37. Watch.
That's why that was going to be my score prediction.
See, that's what I said in the back of my head when he asked me that. I'm like 30, but it contradicted what I said about Mahomes going down the field to get that touchdown to win it. So, but I can also see 34-37 though too.
I think it winds up 31-28. I'll say 31-28 Chiefs.
Yeah. I can also see that too.
I'm not picking against my team, even if I know it's going to be tough.
We know that.
You shouldn't. I would have to ask who the hell is on this video. We're gonna have to redo this whole thing over and record picking them to win. Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, as I informed the people, I said, basketball we agree, baseball we agree. Sure. The only thing we disagree on is our football teams.
Yeah,
and of course, passion at the domino stable.
Always forever. That's
this. As a fan of football, I'm excited for this matchup just because it is as evenly matched as you want it to be. I mean, this is perhaps one of the most evenly matched Super Bowls in a long. Got a young coach in Sirianni trying to assert himself, and all he has done has been vastly improved since he became a head coach in this league. Of course, Andy Reid is trying to join a short list of multiple coaches that have won Super Bowls, and only him. And if he has to do that, only himself and the hoodie are not in the Hall of Fame and George Seifert, because almost every other head coach that has won 2+ Super Bowls is in the Hall of Fame. Like I said, with the exception to Tom Coughlin, Belichick, and if Andy Reid was to accomplish this, he would be the other, and Mike Shanahan. So, boy, it is tough to dissect. It's tough to dissect, but no. Score prediction will be 27-21.
Ooh.
I think. I'm picking Philly just because Philly's defense is slightly better, but I agree with what Raymond said or what Mizzle said. If Mahomes has the ball, and he's proven it, because again, all we got to go back to is last year against the Bills, 13 seconds, and they kick a game tying field goal into overtime.
Yeah.
To which the Bills cried and pissed and moaned about this new overtime rule in the playoffs, which I despise with the tremendous passion. I can't stand it.
You put your they stop them. That's all you got to do is stop them. Your defense.
All you got to do is stop them for 13 seconds.
Hold them.
Kick the damn ball. Don't kick it into the end zone for a touchback. You script kick.
I'll take it.
Well, of course you'll take it.
I mean, it's what, Shaggy? In the books, it's what? A damn W.
It's a win. It's a W. Yes.
All you need.
Damn W. That's what you played.
It got to be pretty. It's just got to be a dub. Yep. And then maybe I don't have to deal with Joe Cool anymore if the Bills are in that AFC Championship game.
You know what?
Tell you what, the quarterback match.
Why? Just come in and play your game. See, they're young. That's what that is. They're young. They don't know. They don't know the history of Arrowhead. That's all it is. Because they think 2 games. But the toughest thing, like Dub will say, because when he played the Seahawks 3 times in a row, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row.
It is. And kudos to the Bengals for doing it.
Yeah.
But to try and do it again in Arrowhead for the second year in a row,
no.
That it's just tough to
with this.
It's tough to do.
Yeah.
And again, I've said it on this show. Joe Burrow gives two fucks. Does not give two fucks. He has ice water in his. He has ice water in his veins, and that ballsy throw that Jamar Chase went to.
Would never be.
And when he made that throw on 4th and 6, and Jamar Chase went up and go get it, that just shows you how ballsy he is. But again, as the great Gorilla Monsoon always used to say, he went once to the well too many times and tried to go deep again to Higgins. And again,
what normally, a fantastic play on that.
But normally, well, of course, well, yes. But I mean, if you tip the ball, it's normally a bad thing when it's tipped in the air and your defense has a chance to grab it.
Oh, yes, especially when
I should know. I should know. With Colin Kaepernick trying to throw it to his BFF and Malcolm Smith or Richard Sherman just tap, and Malcolm Smith says, "Thank you very much."
Yeah.
Right here, but that's not there. But I have
sorry ass receiver like Crabtree.
He did not see Quentin Patton wide open in the flat, but that's not here.
No, because he's a one-read quarterback. One-read quarterbacks go and they run the offense the way it's supposed to be ran.
He had Vernon Davis and Randy Moss open in the back of the end zone in New Orleans, but that's not here or there because they decided not to give Frank or the goddamn football at the 5-yard line.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You don't sound bitter about it at all, man.
Well, okay. Not to go back on history, but rather the Niners would have got blown out by the Ravens in Super Bowl 47, and here's why. They were not ready to play.
Go out, that possibly could have happened.
Oh, no, it was going to happen if the lights didn't go out.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. If the lights didn't go out, it could happen.
It was, I mean, yes, again, you can call holding on every single play. Yes, there was holding on the kickoff return with Jacoby Jones. Yes, I get it. I understand it.
Yeah,
but
you hear that
the Niners,
you can call it on any play.
Any and every play. It's when they want to throw the flag.
Exactly. But they weren't ready to play. And not only that, and I keep saying this over and over again. And again, we all have people in our fan bases that sometimes we just want to smack the heck out of because they just don't get it. And I would tell people, I said, yeah, okay, yes, it happened. Yes, you can do, yeah. But the fact of the matter is, the Niners could not get off on defense on third down. The Ravens were 9 for 16 on third down. And it seemed like every freaking third down, it was Anquan freaking Bolden making a play to extend drives. And I've loved Anquan Bolden since Florida State and since he was an Arizona Cardinal. I'm just telling you. But the Super Bowl 54 loss hurts me more because for 3 quarters, Mahomes looked lost, looked confused. The defense was doing their thing. And then Kyle Shanahan decides, I don't want to give Deebo Samuel and Raheem Mostert the football. I'm going to have Garoppolo throw it. A wise decision. Just like you decided not to run Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman in Super Bowl 51 when you were up 28-3 against the Patriots. And not to mention, after Julio Jones makes one of the most insane catches in Super Bowl history, and I still don't know to this day how he got both feet in bounds.
Yeah.
You decide to keep throwing, and then you take a sack, and that sack kicks you out of field goal range because if you kick a field goal, and Matt Bryan was a very accurate kicker for the Falcons, you kick a field goal, game's over, and Brady has just as many losses as he probably does rings. Brady probably have 5 losses. Brady should be.
Can we blame Kyle Shanahan for that whole Super Bowl? There was a defense on the other side of the field that couldn't get off the field too.
Most people want to blame Kyle Shanahan. He only gets 50% of them because he was not the head coach. He was the OC. Exactly. Dan Quinn was the head coach.
Who is a defensive-minded coach.
So, with that said, as you always say, Mizzle, stop somebody. You're on defense. Stop somebody.
There it is. That's all you got.
Stop somebody. But I mean, I'm just saying, like the Super Bowl 47 loss for me doesn't hurt because, like I said, the Niners really should have got blown out. And they want to blame Beyonce and them for messing up the lights in the Superdome.
Y'all was torched by the first half. It was Mad Rule in the first half.
Give up the sticks.
Done.
Give up the sticks. This player has left the game.
Somebody called
Press the X.
somebody called New York and was like, yo, we can't go out like this.
Go in the damn
Lights
town.
down. Thank you, Duke. Yes. Thank you, Duke from Rocky. Yes. But Super Bowl 54 loss hurts more because, again, the Niners, for the most part, played well. But, again, that 3rd and 15 just changed everything.
But here's the
Buffalo misses an open
he had
Emmanuel
time
Sanders.
to do this and look at the ball come in the basket.
I'm not gonna lie, I still go back and watch that video too. I still be going back and watching highlights of that game.
I'll say
around him. That is the call. He had time to turn around and wait for the football to fall in the basket.
He's too fast, and I love it. I'm here for it. I used to be. I really wanted the Chiefs to play the Dolphins this year.
But the one thing I will say, and Shaggy was nice enough, he didn't let me have it as bad as he gave it to some other Niner fans. Shaggy was actually nice. Actually, I was the first person Shaggy called after the game was over, but he didn't lay it into me like he laid it into other Niner fans.
Ooh, I was hammered too.
What do I do?
Other Niner,
the selective Niner fans that I will give the respect to and won't talk. I will still give you hell, but I still respect you as a Niner fan. Now, the other piece of your fan base, them piece of shits can go to hell, straight up. Don't like them. They think they know everything about football when they don't know shit. Only thing they know is, hey, guess what? We got 5 Super Bowl rings. How many your organization got? Really? The last time your team made it to the Super Bowl, they lost just like mine. So shut the fuck up. Your team is not.
has not won in 29 years. I mean, shut up.
But isn't the Raiders' last Super Bowl appearance old enough to drink?
Exactly.
No,
yes. We last time there 2003, 2002, 2003.
Years ago.
That was my worst year of sports that whole year. The Raiders lost the Super Bowl, and Allen Iverson lost to the Lakers in the finals. My year was shit in sports.
Giants were 5 outs away from being the Angels. Damn it.
Damn you. Yes.
Felix Rodriguez. Damn you.
Yeah. So
damn you, Felix Rodriguez. Damn you, Jose Cruz Jr. for drumming that goddamn ball in Miami. Damn you.
Also, damn you, MLB Hall of Fame for being hypocritical.
Hall of Fame is that?
Oh, he's talking about Barry Bonds.
He's talking about Barry Lamar Bonds. Okay, yeah.
Talking about Barry Bonds not getting in?
But David Ortiz did. How, Sway? How?
I asked my question about how certain players get into the Hall of Fame my damn self. Honestly.
Just want to know, who was the one baseball writer that did not give George Kenneth Griffey Jr. a unanimous vote into the Hall of Fame? I want to know who that one writer is.
Hopefully he's 6 feet under. Because that's wild. Are you looking it up?
Was it the dude that does the TV show?
I don't know who it was. I don't know who it was, but no disrespect to Mariano Rivera. And no disrespect to Mariano Rivera, who is the greatest closer of all time. No disrespect to Mo. None. But you're going to tell me that Mariano Rivera is the first unanimous Hall of Fame player. How?
It should have been. It should have been.
I'm sorry. Willie Mays.
The same way they're telling you that positive PED tests are okay, but Barry Bonds never having a single one is not.
Yeah. You. The only reason why they're giving that man the shaft is because how he treated the media. And
David Ortiz works with him now.
Shame on you for that, because that man has humbled himself and paid his dues, and literally, I believe, apologized. If I'm not mistaken. So he ain't Pete Rose, who got caught gambling. He got caught. Okay.
Yeah.
I understand why you won't put him in. Now, okay.
It's not necessarily he got caught. It's because he got caught and he lied saying he didn't.
Yeah. Well, let's just say this.
Did.
I'm
sorry. Okay.
Did do it. If Barry Bonds did do it, my man did it the right way. Because whatever he told that dude, Brian Anderson, I ain't going to jail for nobody.
I don't even care. Like,
Greg Anderson. Greg Anderson was a
Greg
friend to
Anderson.
the end.
I
That's the
said
thing.
Brian. Greg Anderson. Yeah, excuse me. Yeah. He
He's
must have said
a
his,
friend.
the
But
kids.
again, like I said,
I don't even
well,
care if you had
here's the
a
thing.
separate wing, like, but keeping McGuire, Sosa, Bonds, the guys that saved baseball when it was dying,
True
keeping
that.
them out of the hall to me is asinine.
Like I said, everything became null and void when Bud Selig himself got his plaque in Cooperstown because it was under his watch when all this went down. They weren't even testing for it when all this went down. And of course, I have said this more than one time. When the 1994 strike happened and you canceled the World Series and you canceled the playoffs, which in a sense killed the Montreal Expos because the Expos' best record in baseball that year possibly could have won a World Series, and they possibly still would be the Montreal Expos and not the Washington Nationals. In a sense, killed that team, and thus they moved out plenty of years later. But when that happened, people were done with baseball, except the diehard and purists like myself. I was still going to watch because that's the sport I played. That's the sport my grandfather, God rest his soul, introduced me to. I was still going to watch. But the majority of the fans basically said, screw you. And since then, the National Football League has become the number one sport in the United States of America and has been since.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, baseball is still the national pastime. But if you go to the islands, you go to the Dominican Republic, Colombia, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, baseball is life.
Well, matter of fact, Caribbeans are playing a Caribbean league right now. They're playing baseball.
Yeah, and not to mention later on this month, and later on this month, the WBC, the World Baseball Classic, returns, and the Dominicans have a stacked roster along with Puerto Rico.
Yes, they do.
And even and as stacked as Team USA is, it might come down to the again to take the crown. And plus, you can never count out Cuba.
Nope.
You can never count out Japan because all Japan does is just play fundamentally sound baseball.
This might be a good WBC.
That's all. Yeah, that's all they freaking do. But again, I mean, you have the GOAT, and I'm talking about number 24, Mr. Say Hey himself. If you got the GOAT, who hardly speaks.
Oh, yes.
When Dwayne Kuiper said, well, Mr. Mays wants to talk, so Mr. Mays is going to talk. When you have Willie May, the GOAT, most of his peers that will tell you he is the GOAT because DiMaggio said it, Ted Williams said it, Mickey Mantle said it. Even the great Henry Louis Aaron, Mr. 755, in his own right said, no. Number 24, Mr. Mays, that's the man.
That's why he's the GOAT.
That's the GOAT.
That's right.
Ken Griffey Jr. wore 24 because of Willie Mays. Barry, when he was in Pittsburgh, wore 24 because of his godfather.
The only reason why he didn't wear 24 the only reason why he didn't wear 24 because Mays wore 24. That's why he took 25.
You know what the funny thing is? Willie would have let him wear 24. Of
course.
Willie said, I would have let him wear.
But
I would have let him wear 24 if he wanted to.
You knew how humble Barry Lamar Bonds was, man. He didn't want to.
Well, when
his own legacy
comes,
with that number, wearing that uniform.
Like I said, he took God-given ability plus the cream and the clear and shattered. Like I said,
I don't know if he took that shit. Don't even say that. Even though we know he did because his head was this big, and
that But here's the thing, and Barry went on God-given talent was being ignored because of obviously McGuire and Sosa, and rightfully so. So Barry said, "Oh, so y'all just going to pay?" Like I said,
he didn't need it.
Barry said, "Look, no, he didn't.
The best eyes.
If Barry would have retired, in '98, he would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer right then and there, even if he was moody towards the media. But like I said, they're still trying to find the ball in Anaheim, California, that went somewhere in the hallway in that stadium.
But I believe he knocked the rubber off that ball.
Yeah, and it's
Okay,
hard for
like
me.
I said,
I love Barry, but when you start off with a normal size head and by the end of your career you looking like Hey Arnold, like it it's hard to deny he was taking that shit. But I mean, he never had
still,
positive tests.
but still,
So.
but still, but that is a fact. But still, even in his last season, at 43 years old, they were still scared to pitch to the man. They were still scared to pitch to him. They were exactly. They were still doing the four horsemen symbol. Like I said, when you are Buck Showalter and you purposely walk in a run because you don't want to pitch to him to the bases loaded, and you have Greg Olson, who was a good relief pitcher. When you have Greg Olson, Greg was like, "You serious?" Buck's like, "Him? 4 now."
Walk that mother.
Like I say,
Not
best
Babe Ruth.
eyes in baseball, man. The best eyes in
Babe
baseball.
Ruth, not Henry Aaron, not Willie Mays, not McCovey, not Harmon Killebrew. Every great slugger that has ever played this game of baseball was never purposely walked intentionally with the bases loaded to force in a run. Barry Lamar Bonds was.
That's why he's the
Struck
GOAT.
fear. Struck fear in pitching.
That's all you need to know about Barry. That's all you need to know.
Hell,
Not to jump off, not to jump off sports subjects, but that was just a very intense conversation and a very intense subject.
hey, we don't
because
get,
I mean,
we don't get this man on that often. So all sports is open. I know this is the football show, but the door is open to talk sports. You know, we don't get Shaggy on this that often.
and like I said, it's a blessing to have him on the show because, like I said, when your wife made that post and then we saw the scars, I'm like, damn it, no.
I'm too stubborn to
need
die.
more. that you are, but
that's a factual statement right there.
to piggyback what I was going to say before we started talking about the sports, I do have the Eagles winning 27-21, but like I said, I won't be surprised if the Chiefs win because, like I said, whoever wins this game, both teams would be deserving to win the Lombardi Trophy because, like I said, both teams have earned the right to be there
and did it the right way.
And did it the right way. There's really nothing more you can say about.
There's nothing bad you can say about these organizations. They just did it the right way.
Nah, Brittany and Jackson Mahomes, they give you a lot of pause.
Yeah.
Eagles fans throwing eggs at Bosa. Rude.
Yeah, Joey was but he caused it. I mean, nobody deserves to get eggs tossed at him, but he wasn't that innocent.
but Joey did have a right answer though. He says, "But I'm rich, so I don't give a damn. I'm rich."
I'm fine treating you. It's fine. I'm rich. Like, you know what? I hate you for being right.
If he's rich, you don't deal with that. You just keep it moving.
Yeah, you just tune him out. I wonder how much gambling Charles Barkley has done since he is here in town in Vegas. Now, I was watching the podcast with him and Eric Johnson. He says he's coming out here with his buddies, and he's going to gamble, and he's going to put $100,000 on the Eagles.
Charles Barkley?
Fuck Charles Barkley, bro.
Barkley, yes, he did. He said that.
Man, I got love for Charles, man. He donned the Sixer uniform, man. So
I hate Chuck because he hates the Dubs.
Just loved. I mean, all they did is a lot of people hate our. A lot of people hate our beloved basketball team just because. I mean, they don't like the fact that Wardell is the most selfless teammate you can ever play with.
But yet,
don't like the fact that Draymond Green is our asshole.
There was one superstar that didn't want to stay playing with Steph, and you see now he had the coattail of another team to try to win a championship because he can't win one on his own.
If he's talking about KD,
say this.
Yes, we are. They don't get it done in Phoenix. I don't think so.
I told Dub they're gonna get bounced out in the first round. I wouldn't be shocked.
I'll say this: if they have to end up playing Mr. Walking Triple Double again, that wears number 77 deep in the heart of Dallas, Tejas, if they have to end up playing Luka Doncic again,
How much?
and keep in mind, and keep in mind, last season when they embarrassed them in Game 7, he didn't have Tim Hardaway Jr.
So
Tim Hardaway Jr. is healthy,
hear me
and
out on
not to
this
mention
too.
you just added Uncle Drew to your squad. Go ahead, Jackie.
Yes, KD versus Kyrie.
That's the setup.
It's going to happen. It's the script writers. All right, they got to.
I don't believe that won't be a Western Conference finals game. I think they will probably have to play each other to get to that round, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
but that will be must-see TV though. That will be. I will definitely be glued to the TV watching that.
Luka Doncic is a bad man.
Is gonna get in. I still think the Dubs is gonna get in. Don't let that loss to the Lakers. Don't let the loss to the Lakers fool you. They were just they were just cold. The Lakers.
I mean, I think
are bored.
I think it's through a play-in though, and I think
they'll get the play-in tournament for sure. That's cool. More basketball.
They're just bored and they just want to get to the playoffs. I just think that's what it is.
Bro, they
got to get there.
They've been
they got to keep Steph healthy.
Won their second one. They know the pedigree.
I'll tell you what, I've never been happier to see a player come back than GP2 if he comes back with the physical stuff.
Now, speaking of that situation,
that's Portland's fault. It's Portland's fault. So that's going to all fall on Portland.
So with that said, does that mean that Josh Hart has to come back to the Knicks, or is because I mean it affects the Warriors, it affects the Blazers, it affects the Pistons. So that means
that whole trade would be nullified, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it means Wiseman would come back to the Warriors.
Yep.
Sadiq Bey would come back. Sadiq Bey would come back to the Pistons, and Payton goes back to Portland.
So I did read something today that the Warriors have the option to still keep GP2.
Yeah, they can still keep him, yes.
So, and I bet that they wind up doing that because GP2 is, I love Gary Payton II, and James Wiseman was trash, so you still wind up getting rid of him.
I don't think he was trash per se.
He couldn't stay on the court.
Yep.
But also on Dimick fucked him because again, his freshman year, he would have been a one and done. No question about that. He would have been a one and done. But that one and done season, he only played 3 games. And then the rest of the NCAA season was canceled. So there's already a season missed, per se. Just like it was in baseball, there was no minor league season. So a lot of your top prospects missed a year, which caused them their what's the term I'm looking for? Their service time. So there was that. He showed flashes. Again, wasn't consistent. The Warriors do need another big to complement Kevon Looney. Where you would go for that. Just right now, it all pins on the health of one guy, and that is Wardell. He is the straw that stirs the drink. When he's not there, the Warriors' record is atrocious. There's no question about that. When he does not play, you see the effect it has on that basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
And it was.
It
wasn't looking great before he got hurt.
And it was, and the way it happened was just such a freak accident. Just touching kneecaps, but sometimes it can lead to a very severe injury. So you can only just rest and just hope that when he does return, he's the closest he is to full strength. Because, like I said, when he's out there, and they play their game, the only team that could beat the Warriors is the Warriors. Because I don't know if the Grizzlies have enough, even though John Moran is having a special season and he's a special talent. I
hate the Grizzlies.
That too.
They run their mouth too much.
That too.
They ain't done nothing to be running their mouths. I'm sorry.
I agree.
That's why I love quiet ass Klay Thompson being like, "Talk to me when you've done something." I love Klay.
We all do. The whole Dub Nation loves Klay.
The only team I could possibly see coming out of the West, if it's not the Warriors, truthfully, is Denver. I think if it's not, I think if Denver's going to get to the finals, it might be this year.
It has to be,
because if they don't do it this year, I don't think they'll get there. I like I said, if it's not the Warriors again this year, I think it's Denver.
I'll one be your Nuggets. I could see the Mavericks getting there.
I gotta see more how Kyrie and Luka do together.
Yeah,
that's a lot of ball dominance.
Even though they did lose to the Kings tonight, but you saw a little bit of chemistry with Luke and Kyrie. I mean, you got
the
two
Kings. What a story.
Well, are we shocked though? Look who their coach is.
Oh, no, not at all.
I'm not shocked the way they playing.
Mike Brown has definitely changed that culture, no question.
Yeah. That would be my 1B. Yeah, I believe that the Mavericks, if they continue to go out there with Luke and Kyrie, and Kyrie doesn't get into his head, I think they'll be all right.
That's like asking the sky not to be blue, man. Like, I feel like Kyrie always off on some dumb shit.
I said on our previous show, I think the young man might got bipolar. That just,
I can see it.
I hope not, but the things that he's doing.
Because again, you say you want to re-sign in Brooklyn, and then I'll trade me now.
Well, he did that in Boston.
He gets traded. Again, when he goes to a big media market, does not happen. And he wants to go to the Lakers, and the Nets owner said, "No, I'm not trading you to LA. No, you're going to Dallas." Oh, by the way, your owner is a Jewish.
Oh man.
Lord, he is a talent. It's because Luka is the point forward, which only means he's going to get open shots, which means Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to get open shots. It's going to spread the floor for a lot of people on that Dallas Mavericks squad.
That's why I agree. Like I said, I agree with your Nuggets, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Mavericks somehow slide their way in there. And plus, they don't have their coach ain't too shabby his damn self. Jason Kidd is
he's Hall of Famer. Hall of Famer and a former champion for a reason.
Yeah. He's a hell of a coach. So I believe that they'll be all right. But I will say one thing about the team that we don't like. The Lakers' future is bright with the moves they made.
Oh, that shit was so funny. Pat Bev tweeting that the gang's back together to get traded 20 minutes later.
Yeah. And I do mean if the higher ups of Lakers just stay the F away. That's been their problem. What the Lakers need to do, if they really wanted to get back to being the Lakers, if you will, is get some basketball people to do basketball stuff. Stop doing this Hollywood stuff. Okay. I'm sure they wish they can reincarnate the logo and make them 50 years younger. I'm pretty sure they wish they could do that, but no. But they need somebody like another Jerry West to run the basketball operations to where they can be the Lakers again. But I don't know if they want. What the Lakers have is too many yes men, yes women. That's the same thing in Charlotte, which is why Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan are not friends to this day, because Charles is being real, saying, Mike, you got too many yes men, because they're scared to tell you no. Which why MJ has not been a very successful owner since he has been an owner in this league.
Ooh, some Bobcats.
He wasn't there for the Bobcats. That was Mr. Johnson, former BET
Wait, who the hell was
founder?
Wait, who was Jordan involved?
He was involved with the Wizards first, and then had to give up his ownership stake when he decided to come back out of retirement for the third time to play for the Wizards. And then eventually he did buy the Bobcats, which eventually once again became the Charlotte Hornets.
Once he bought them, he came out and said that he wanted to move them back to Charlotte. Take them back to their
They were already in Charlotte, but he wanted to give them back their original name.
right. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
Smart move. I mean, he did torch
Charlotte.
so why not?
Who didn't he torch? who he didn't torch?
Pistons.
The only person he didn't. Well, yeah, Pistons did take 3 or 4 in the playoffs, and he never did beat Larry Bird. But those Bulls teams were nothing compared to the teams that Bird had when they played each other in the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
But I just say the biggest one if Lynn Bias didn't die of the white girl, would Jordan have gotten 6? How many more Larry Bird would have gotten?
Well, hell, if Jordan retired the first time, what that was the first 3-peat. So just think about that.
Do the Bulls win 8 straight like Bill Russell did if Jordan does not retire after '93?
I would not have a shot of a doubt to believe that.
I can't play the what if game because if I play the what if game, I start getting mad. Like, what if Draymond Green didn't punch LeBron James in the nuts?
You kick him in the nuts.
Well, here's the thing: Draymond should have got suspended in the conference finals against the Thunder when he was doing it to Aquaman.
I mean, I agree, but I also hate that he got in trouble for LeBron stepping over him. But you can't swing on a man.
That's like saying if Harrison Barnes hits all those damn 3-pointers that they left him wide open.
That's what I'm saying. I can't get started on the what if game because there's a lot of what ifs I could pull.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant will never came to the Warriors.
What if the Tuck rule wasn't a thing?
The Raiders would have beat the dog shit out the Giants in the Super Bowl. Because they would have went to Pittsburgh the next week and did the same thing and then would have ran all over the Giants in the Super Bowl.
All right. So I gotta
Rams, but it was the Rams, but not the Giants.
I only know one Raiders fan that I'll talk to.
Okay. Well, I'm just
that was a Super Bowl. That's the year that the Ravens won their first
Super Bowl. Yeah, but the Tuck rule was in the 2001 season. Okay, basically what he's saying is the Raiders would have had back-to-back Super Bowl appearances in Super Bowl 35 and 36 if Saragusa didn't do what Saragusa did, and of course the Tuck rule. Got it. Continue.
So I got to bring this up. There's only a couple Raiders fans I know that I'll actually talk to. Derek Carr, I'm sure y'all talked about this. Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs we know Derek Carr gone, but where does he go? And is Josh Jacobs a Raider next year?
I believe where it's going right now, since they only granted him permission to talk to the Saints, I believe if he doesn't get traded to the Saints, we release him and he ends up signing with the Saints, and they're going to franchise tag Josh Jacobs. He's not going anywhere. Even if he decides he wants to sit out a year, we still own his rights, and I don't think nobody's going to trade the picks to get him. So we're going to give him the money. I believe they'll tag him, and a deal will get done before the season starts, before that window closes, where you can't negotiate with a tag player. But I believe he'll be a Raider next year. But I believe Derek Carr will be a Saint. If not a Saint, then I can see him going. The two other teams I could think were the Texans, for the simple fact of the matter that his brother was there and he has roots there, or just maybe Tampa. That's about it. But I don't see him playing in the AFC.
Well, I'm gonna round this out. Josh Jacobs. I can't swim, so Josh Jacobs was my floaties for my fantasy teams, except for the one I was in with y'all because I was terrible in that league. We ain't gonna talk about that.
We're not.
We're not talking about that.
I'm still trying to figure out how the hell of all people, simplest one won the damn, and he was barely 2 games over 500. I'm trying to understand, of all people, him.
I'll never figure that out either.
None of us will. That's fine. We don't need to figure it out. We'll just forget about it. I do think that next year, next season, the Chiefs still run roughshod through the AFC West, and they do so as the defending, undisputed Super Bowl 57 champs. Just saying.
Very well that very well could happen.
Yeah, but
Now, here's the here's the question. I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to trade Jackson.
I will give up the whole
Do you
fucking
think
part for him right now.
And that's what my brother said too. It's like bring Lamar.
I will
to
rather
Vegas.
I don't want Aaron Rodgers. I don't want porno Jimmy. Thank the heavens and the football gods that old ass Tom Brady retired, so they can throw that fucking shit out the window about him coming to Vegas. But if it's not Lamar, sign Stidham, draft a rookie, and mold him. But if Lamar, give him this year's, next year's, and a few twos. Come on, Lamar. Come toss that deep ball to Devontae. RPO with Josh Jacobs. Hit Hunter Renfro. Fuck. Yes. Lamar Jackson. I will give it up. If the Ravens don't want him.
How many games has Lamar missed since his MVP season?
In total?
Yeah.
He's in double digits.
Oh, very good question, because
what he missed about what?
As we all
6 to 8 this year.
Yeah.
You want to count the
like we always say.
Your best ability is availability.
Exactly. You know it. We preach that on this show.
But
Your
I say
best
this
ability
though,
is
if
availability.
I'm gonna ride with a quarterback that gets hurt, I would rather ride with Lamar Jackson than Jimmy Garoppolo.
You mean the lesser Derek Carr? Derek Carr is a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo. If you're gonna get rid of Derek Carr, you can't go sign Jimmy Garoppolo.
100%. There it is. There it is. But I'm not willing to give up the farm for Aaron Rodgers, who at any moment could be like, I'm done with football. Fuck you guys.
He's gonna meditate first in a dark room. But yeah.
Meditate his ass to the goddamn East Rutherford Jets. Yeah, he can stay away from Vegas.
Bro, the Jets with Aaron Rodgers would be pretty nasty though.
It would, but I'd rather him go fuck that organization up and set him back 5 years in mine. We already been setting ourselves back since 2003. Shit. So let's not continue to set ourselves back.
Nah, y'all can keep that up. I don't mind it.
No. We gotta put a defense together to stop that motherfucker. That's where that jersey you wearing. So fuck all that shit. With that contract you got, he gave his ass. I need to get a defense to stop him.
I need a contract somewhere similar to that, just for being a fan.
That was hell.
Pay me.
They need to pay me with all this torture I'm going through with they. How the fuck does McDaniels destroy a playoff team? You upgrade it. You get the best receiver in the NFL.
And y'all couldn't hold on to a lead. That's the wild part. All year, y'all couldn't hold on to a lead. Six
of them. Should have beat that Bastards team. Couldn't hold the lead. That's not even with Derek Carr. Should have beat his team.
Should have been my team.
Stidham torched us.
The only game we got destroyed was New Orleans because we couldn't cross the fucking 50. And hell, I don't even know how we lost that game. Only one person beat us, and it was Alvin Kamara.
My favorite meme of this entire season was the AFC West spent $1 billion just to beat Patrick Mahomes, and it was over before Halloween.
Still lost. Exactly.
Love it. I'm not upset about it at all.
Well, for Justin Herbert, his defense can't hold 10-point plus leads either, because as well as he plays,
his coach is an idiot.
His defense.
Hey, it's not more than it's just his coach is an idiot.
Don't bring up Justin Herbert to me. Don't bring up Justin Herbert to me until he plays for an organization that's not the Chargers. Because every year, if one thing's going to remain the same, Chargers going to Charger. Every year. Last year, they charged their way out of a playoff game. This year, they charged their way into a playoff loss. Chargers going to Charger.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say that again.
I agree.
You were up. Okay. As me and Mizzle were making our way to California from Vegas, to which I watched the Niners Seahawks game on my phone,
That
and
was
we had just
torture.
got and we had just got back to watch the rest of the first half between the Chargers and Jaguars, and we're like, it is 27-0. And then I said, if somehow the Jaguars come back, which wouldn't shock me because this is what the Chargers do, then I know something. Then Sunshine just did what Sunshine did, which again, I already called it on the one of our last shows. I already called it. I said the Jaguars are going to win the division in 2023, and I'm going to stick by that. I'm still picking the Jaguars to win the South in 2023.
If T-Lock put together a full
Gonna get
season.
that team. Well, like I said, Doug. Well, me and Mizzle said on one of our shows when Doug Peterson got hired, he said the Jaguars are going to be a problem in a few years if Peterson gets his program together.
Yep.
I
Together
hate
in
Trevor
year
Lawrence.
one.
The only thing I got against Trevor Lawrence is he went to Clemson.
The other thing I got against Trevor Lawrence is I used to have his hair and now I don't anymore.
That's the facts. That's a fact. There was sunshine before sunshine.
He had hair, and I had hair. Shaggy still has his hair. He have none.
I decided to grow my hair out because I used to stick with short hair, but hell, I guess you can call that the midlife crisis before a midlife crisis.
Say you I must say you wear it very well, sir.
Well, I appreciate that. Sometimes it does get on my nerves.
I believe it.
And sometimes
have him
it'll go here, like one braid will be sticking up like this, and I'm trying to get it to go lay down, and then the other braid will be like all like hanging up here. I'm like, oh my God. It's because the do-rag I wear, that's all. But I didn't expect
I will say once again, the Rivas beard was in full effect when Ty Law went to Darrell Rivas' house to introduce him to the Hall of Fame. The Rivas beard was in full force.
Don't you ever mention that ever again in my
I'm not
presence.
talking about you, brother.
I know. You just don't we're not gonna talk about the Rivas beard. It's not gonna happen. I had that. That bad boy was down to here. I didn't give a damn about my. It was winter. And that's when I was on like the 45th floor in San Francisco. Man, F that. I need all the hair.
I bless you for working that damn high because I know I like, nope, this is too high for me. No, no, thank you.
Yeah, you ain't getting over the building that high.
No.
You know why I took that job. That's the only thing that was hiring, and my kids needed me to provide. So 45 stories.
Not mad at you. Not mad at you. It served its purpose, and then the Lord said, "My son, because you were faithful, here's Kaiser Permanente. Good people, good medicine."
Single story.
Hey,
Unless he came in.
It's the easiest thing to get paid to just make a bed. Getting decent money just to make a bed.
I mean, do what you got to do, man. If it's easy and it's paying, I'm there.
Hey, yeah, I'd rather do this than be 50 stories high. I'll tell you that.
Excited. Not this next week. Next Tuesday starts playoff basketball for me, and especially after the game I just did on last Thursday, a double overtime game that was freaking amazing. But I will say,
did you just hear about that high school
the
game
state of Nevada
too?
The final score?
The final score was 4-2.
Basketball.
No, wait.
Basketball.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Varsity basketball. I just want to.
Hey, that was like an hour from where I'm living at now too.
How do you show up to your
So the teams were protesting the fact that high school basketball doesn't have a shot clock out here.
The same, which is the same thing here. That's the same. That's the same in Nevada. There was no shot clock, and I've said multiple times during the broadcast, I'm like, we need a shot clock. We need a shot clock because, of course, us growing up in California. I know you didn't go to high school in California, but I mean, me and Mizzle were used to shot clocks in high school. There was a 35-second
When I was
shot
on the
clock
high school team, we had
in
a
high
shot
school.
clock. Yeah, when I played, we had a shot clock on the high school team. So
that's what I'm saying. 35-second shot clock.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I think out of all the basketball games I've done so far, I think the only school that actually has a shot clock there is Bishop Gorman.
But yeah,
So
they get it.
But yeah, they do. But also, I think they have a lot of AAU tournaments at Bishop Gorman because I know the Darkanian Classic is played there a lot of times. But yeah, I don't get why there's no shot clock in basketball in high school because when you go to college, you deal with a 35-second shot clock.
Yeah.
I think one of the teams, well, they were both protesting. And so one of the teams literally held the ball. I was reading somewhere that they held the ball for 7 straight minutes.
That's damn near a quarter.
It's wild.
We need to go back to 1985 when Villanova played Georgetown and Villanova was playing keep away from Patrick Ewing. Hence, that's why the shot clock came in the next season in college basketball.
Yeah, that's wild. A 4-2. Imagine being somebody in the crowd for that game.
I'll be pissed.
What am I doing here? I'm going home.
Thank you.
Somebody would have been dealing out some F-bombs for sure if that was the case.
Imagine broadcasting that game.
Oh my God.
Imagine being the announcer.
Goodness.
I would have been doing the Orange Cassidy.
And they didn't even score until the end of like the fourth quarter out there, from what I remember.
Yeah, I would have been doing the Orange Cassidy like this. Really, come on now.
Taking a nap.
Broadcast with your hands in your pockets.
Right.
Just like that. Exactly just like that. Not giving a damn.
Yeah.
So y'all pray for me because next year I am not ready for this mass amount of humanity that's going to come to Las Vegas, Nevada for the Super Bowl week. Since Super Bowl 58 will be here at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, I'm like, as much as I want to go to the NFL experience wherever they're going to hold that out here in Vegas, it's like, do I really want to go? Do I really want to be around that mass amount of humanity?
I don't like people, so now
I would love to go.
Hey, man,
I would like to go see where they would, set up. Even though I would love to see where Radio Row would be set up at, I'm just like, that's too many people.
Yeah, way too many people.
Yeah, agreed.
So let me ask this as we're going to change sports again. Our beloved Giants. How see this roster shaping up, and what would you think would be their win total? Because as the last 2 years have proven in baseball, certainly in the National League, doesn't matter if you win 100 plus or 90 plus. If you can just get in, you do some things, because it was the Braves who won 88 games in 2021. They won the World Series. Then this past season, the Phillies that won 87 games gets to the World Series and eventually falls to the eventual champion, the Astros. So what is your realistic win total for the Giants with the particular roster that they mocked, per se, with the people that they've added?
I'm going to keep it real with you. I haven't kept up with all of the roster moves this offseason because I've been focusing on football and basketball. Usually I turn my focus about Monday to what's going on in baseball. But with the few things I have seen, I'm not confident. I wasn't last year, but then again, I also wasn't the year before. And we dropped 107. But
2021 spoiled a lot of people. It did. Because, I mean, that just flat out came out of nowhere.
But I don't know that I'm upset with the Oh man, why am I blanking on the idiot's name? The cat that's the shortstop.
Crawford?
You know?
Oh, Carlos Correa.
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 Oh, Correa.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The one who they came at us for him going to the Mets for the failed physical, and it's like, oh shit, the Mets didn't like his physical either. Vindication. That's all I needed.
And he goes back to the Twinkies.
Where it all started.
It was kind of a bittersweet deal for me. Like, I know we need to move on from Crawford. I love B. Craw. I love him. But we never had him for his bat. And his defense didn't look as sharp to me last year as it had in previous years.
I agree with that.
And we didn't move on from Crawford. I'm actually kind of sad we moved on from Belt, even though it's kind of the same deal.
Oh, I'm happy. I'm happy he's going. It's over. He can't stay healthy.
Yeah, I love the draft, but the best ability is availability, and he was never healthy. So never.
Well, here I agree with Belt. Belt was it was time. I still think Brandon Michael Crawford deserves the right to retire as a Giant, just the same way Posey did.
100%. I just wish he had done it.
100%.
The same way Matt Cain did.
100%.
The only problem is, if you do that, do you put David Villar at shortstop, which means who you want to be your starting third baseman? You want to be Wilmer Flores or JD Davis? It's another question for another day. I think the rotation will come back to life. If Shamania could be the Shamania he was with the A's, the Shamania that threw a no-hitter against the Red Sox and made the Red Sox look ugly, if he can be that, he certainly can be a compliment to Logan Webb, along with Alex Cobb, along with Alex Wood, and along with the returning Anthony.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big Alex Wood guy.
There's a lot of guys in the Giants I don't like. I wish they would re-sign Kevin Gausman, but that's here nor there.
I did like Gausman.
It was solid.
And I wish we could have kept that guy they just had, Rodon. I wish they could have found a way to keep him.
Yeah, if we could have kept Rodon, that would have been all right.
Yeah,
because I like Rodon, but I knew he was a rental. I thought Jock Peterson was going to be a rental, and it doesn't matter that he plays for it doesn't matter that he plays for the Giants now. I still hate Jock Peterson because he wore blue at one point, and I hate Jeff Kent to this day because he put on the blue.
Hey, I get it. I get it.
No argument
about something about wearing that Dodger would just makes you want to give them the Macho Man flying elbow off the top rope.
Yeah.
Fuck the Dodgers.
Yes, even when Farhan came to the Giants, I'm like, really?
Yeah, and their bullshit bubble championship. That shit don't count.
Talk to me when you do it 162. When you do it,
not done it.
I respect you as a champion. When you do it 162,
the Dodgers have not done it in 162 since '88 because remember, in 1981 it was not a full season; they were on strike.
So that's the only time they can win the World Series when it's a half a season.
Come at me, Dodgers fans. I don't give a fuck. Fuck the Dodgers. And Clayton Kershaw.
Season. It was
We're baseball ready.
Kershaw's the gift that keeps on giving. Kershaw's the gift that keeps on giving October, giving up the ass in postseason games. So that's
he's the Peyton Manning without the rings in the postseason.
Drop on that. Although I will say, I do like the Mitch Haniger signing. Hopefully he can stay healthy. I love the Conforto. He can stay healthy because Conforto really can put good wood on the ball. He's a very hard, solid contact hitter, and he plays good defense in right field. Eric does pop, but again, he needs to stay healthy. I think Yaz will bounce back. If, as Mizzle would say, if my man Crush can continue his improvement from when he came back from the minors and put it together for full season, he finally might take all that pressure off him.
Yeah, he got some
more so looking forward to the.
He definitely got some big shoes to fill.
He does.
That is There will never be a Gerald Dempsey Posey the third ever.
You talking about Joey Bats?
Joey Bart. That's his man crush.
I fucking hate Joey Bart.
So, is there a story behind this? Please do tell.
Well, first of all, because when he was crushing it last year, my brother knows there's two giants that are prominent to my fandom: Barry Bonds,
Lamar,
Buster Posey,
Gerald Dempsey, the third.
Those are my two favorite giants of all time. So my brother was just giving me the business last year, talking about, oh, did you see Bart hit another home run today? It's like, if you don't shut the fuck up. I hate Joey Bart because he's not Buster Posey. That's, if we get down to the truth of it, that's why. There will never be anybody to replace Buster Posey.
100.
Joey Bart could hit 120 home runs. He could break the home run record 2 times over, and I'll be like, fuck Joey Bart.
Well, E40 put him in one of his lines. The only busters I mess with is Buster Posey. So
what makes me sad too is he could have just come back and been the DH.
I agree.
He could have just been the DH.
But I think,
even if I hate that rule,
it should not be in the National League.
I agree.
It should not be in the National League.
But I think the thing is, he didn't want to primarily be a DH because he enjoyed catching so much. Hard to think that he was a shortstop at Florida State University.
I think that's
it's not
even Buster's bat that I miss. It's the games that he called.
Yep. You missed that veteranship, that leadership in that clubhouse. Yeah. You can tell that it wasn't there last year. You can tell Buster was missed. In a lot of games, you're like, damn, if Buster was here, this game would have went a total different way.
Mention Gerald Dempsey III was a tremendous framer of pitches.
Yes. But you know what, though?
He knew
I do have confidence now because he's now in the front office. So a lot of the bullshit that I hope he will tell Farhan, hey, bro, stop bringing in them fucking Dodgers, bro. We don't need them here. we don't do that.
What I really need is for it to go the other way around. I need Farhan to be like, yo, Buster, go put some pads on. Go teach Joey Bart how to call a game.
Well, his game calling did get better towards the end of the season, and his frame job got better towards the end of the season.
But
I do like the high.
He's not Buster Posey.
He's not Gerald Dempsey Posey III. I get that. Those are very big shoes to fill.
Like them big red ugly boots that are now being a big thing now. Yeah, that's how big the shoes is for him. Yes.
Oh, the big hats too.
Yes. Shit, those hats are big enough to fit on our former manager's head. Yes, I'm talking about Bruce Bochy.
They might be big enough to fit on Barry Bonds' head at post steroids.
Made me fall out of my seat. Don't do that. Don't do that.
If the Chiefs pull out the Super Bowl win, I'm gonna go buy me a Chiefs big hat like that.
Well, I'll say this. We are doing a post Super Bowl show.
Super Bowl post. Yes, we are.
You are welcome to come back on, win or lose.
I mean, I'll have to be sober this time. This is first Super Bowl.
That's right. The last one, it's still in the archive.
The last one, you were lit. You were lit. Yes, it is.
But rightfully so. There's no shit. I want to have that feeling. I want to feel that.
You want to feel the pain of losing the Super Bowl? I don't think I called you
winning. No, winning.
I think y'all tried to call me after the Tampa Super Bowl, and I was not having it. I was like, "Don't call me, don't talk to me."
You know what?
Shaq was like, "We're done."
You know what? I answered
done.
Every phone call when the Raiders lost to the Buccaneers, and I accepted every.
Don't know why.
Well, because I don't run. I talk the shit, and I'll be able to take what's dished back at me. That's just the type of hell.
Hey.
Teams in the
I got little legs.
Your team is in the fucking Super Bowl, and I'm still sitting here talking shit. I don't give two fucking shits. Even when they win a Super Bowl, I'm gonna talk shit.
Hey, I got little legs. It's hard for me to run away. but I still do it. I got no problems. Especially, I was just mad because we lost to the old man. Like we lost to fucking Brady and Gronk on half a back. Fuck, oh god.
The worst part about that Super Bowl, y'all only scored 9 points.
We didn't have an offensive line.
That's what he was. Like we mentioned earlier, he was running for his life.
Fact.
And even when he made like the picture of that Super Bowl has nothing to do with Tom Brady or Gronk. The picture from that Super Bowl is Mahomes laying out and throwing the ball. And what happened? It hit my man's in the face mask and he dropped it.
That says it right there.
He made one of the greatest throws I've ever seen. And it hit my man like a professional receiver. You a professional. That shit hit you in the face mask and fall. Oh man, I've never wanted to throw. I was so drunk too. I almost threw something through my TV. It was not good.
Don't be the Cowboy fan.
That's where the
I'm doing that for a
infamous
Super Bowl.
that's where the infamous "we're done" came along. Not too long after that. Oh boy.
Ugh.
But yes, if you are sober enough, even if you are a little bit inebriated, we will love to see the passion.
I gotta be sober. I can't drink no more.
He's nursing the chest.
Well, we will love, like I said, we will love to have your input on how the Super Bowl goes tomorrow. Or are we still in? Oh, we're 10 minutes away from Sunday. Okay.
No, it's Sunday for me.
That's right.
0150 is what my clock
It's officially
is.
Super Bowl. It is officially Super Bowl Sunday in the state of Tejas.
Don't worry, I ain't going to sleep.
Too pumped.
The night owl awakens.
Oh yeah.
But
I took a barbecue nap earlier, so there's no chance I'm going back to sleep.
he was barbecue wasted.
Yes. Yes.
Definitely barbecue wasted. But again, a special thank you to Shaggy Estes for coming on to the show and blessing us with his presence. Of course, talking about his beloved Chiefs, hoping that his Chiefs can make it a second Super Bowl in the last 5 years, as the Eagles try to make it their second Super Bowl in the last 5 years. Should be a fantastic game again. Kickoff is scheduled for 3:30 on Fox, and of course
4:00
with the lovely Rihanna doing the halftime show, which is 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Mountain Time or Central Time, 4:30 Mountain Time, 3:30 Pacific Time on your local Fox station. So that want to try to watch the game wherever they would be if you don't have the NFL mobile app, to where you can watch it on NFL Plus, and hopefully NFL Plus won't be acting like they have issues, which sometimes they do.
Almost the worst money spent.
So just to recap, Mizzle has the Eagles. Of course, Ryan has the Chiefs. I picked the Eagles to win 27-21, but like I said, if Mahomes beats Mahomes, I wouldn't be surprised. Love you too.
I wouldn't be shocked if it comes down to Mahomes has to take the team down the field to win the game. I would not. I will sit here and be like, "Yep, it's over."
Yeah, right now nobody I'd rather have doing it, but even though I gave y'all the finger for it, I don't fault y'all for taking that stance.
That's a real fan.
Like I said, it's I only give it a slight edge to the Eagles just because, like I said, the Eagles have the better defense. But you know, it has been proven before that a number one offense can beat a number one defense in a Super Bowl, because it was the same way in Super Bowl 24 with the Niners and Broncos. Broncos had the best defense. Niners had the number one offense, and one of the rare times the number one offense actually beat the number one defense, because that 89 Niners team was obviously loaded with George Seifert taking over the mantle for Bill Walsh. So it can happen. It does not happen that often, but it can happen. But like I said, we all agree on that it's going to come down to the trench warfare with the offensive defensive line respectives of both teams. It's going to come down to that. If one team can force the turnover, will that be the deciding factor?
My heart needs this. My heart needs this.
I need to get some Kool-Aid ready for the big Kool-Aid man, as it is the Andy Reid / Kelsey / Kool-Aid Man Bowl.
Indeed.
I buy jerseys for every championships my team wins, which it's been an expensive decade. So, and I need a Travis Kelsey jersey. My wife just hooked me up the I don't know what the alternate jerseys are called, but it's the one with the have the flowers running on the side, the City Connect jerseys, I think they are.
Would that be considered color rush? Oh, you're
No,
talking basketball?
I'm talking basketball. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's the City Connect.
Yeah, that's the City Connect. Yeah,
that's the City Connect.
So I had an Iggy.
Is it the black and gold one?
Yeah, the black and gold with the flowers. Those jerseys are fire. She bought me a Draymond. I was like, I got to get the whole set. Like, I had Steph, I had Clay, I got Durant, I have another Steph. She's like, all right, who do you want? And I was like, it's either got to be Kelsey or Draymond. And she hooked me up with a Draymond this year. So
nice. I just need
good wife. Say it is 12 o'clock some damn where. But again, we like to thank a good friend of the program, and this is brought to you by Michelob Ultra. Also brought to you by Fuck Them Kids Productions.
Indeed. Yep, that's the production company.
That is the name of the production company. You doggone right. But Shaggy, thank you again for joining us. I greatly appreciate it. And again, please come back on Sunday during the post show if you'd like, win or lose, to where we can talk about this game, dissect the game.
And we might have an Eagle fan, ladies and gentlemen. There might
an Eagle fan join us. So we might have a full.
Don't you dare call my ass if there's an Eagles fan on there.
I'm sorry. I gotta. There's a family member that's an Eagles fan, and he supports the show, so we have to get him on. I mean, we had you on, so I'll be.
That's fair. Well, Dub, Mizzle, I appreciate y'all having me on. That was fun.
Of course.
Thank you for accepting the invitation. You are welcome to come back anytime, and we thank you for supporting the show. And tell James we said hey, and hopefully he's doing well as well.
Next season, you just got to come on so we can do like the Mad Dog Stephen A. We can just sit here and yell at each other when the Chiefs play the Raiders. We can do it. I'm down.
Hey, I promise you don't want them problems because I'm just going to talk shit the entire game because
he's going to talk it right back. I'm not gonna be Lester Holt for this one, trying to moderate. No, I'm not doing that. No.
Y'all turning into John Morant. You're gonna get one win and start talking shit.
Well, we learned our lesson never to disrespect the logo in Arrowhead.
Y'all ain't won a game since then, so you can't do nothing about it anyways.
Exactly.
Hey, that's not true though. I'm pretty sure y'all tried to have like a team meeting on our logo at Arrowhead. For the Monday Night Football game.
Yeah.
Y'all play too much. Yeah,
it didn't go right.
All right, y'all. Let me get my ass to bed.
Yes, but definitely.
Thank you again, Shaggy. Love you, brother. Thank you again.
Love you, gents. Well, holla at y'all later.
Later.
Right. Enjoy the game.